Okay, so let's jump right in. We're going to take you on a journey today that, believe it or not, starts about 90 million miles from here.
Right on the surface of Mars. We're talking dusty, freezing cold, and somehow it connects directly back to how you think.
Exactly. How you manage things like anxiety, complexity, and maybe the most important thing of all,
Wow.
failure. It's all rooted in mechanical engineering principles.
Yeah, this whole deep dive is built around the thinking of an engineer who spent, what, 7 years at NASA?
7 years
Yeah.
working on the Mars rover program
And then he took that, that incredibly high-stakes mindset and just completely pivoted.
to something totally different, right?
Yeah.
Fostering curiosity and learning in a physical way.
And our mission for you listening to this is to kind of shortcut that whole learning process. We want you to absorb these core ideas about managing risk and designing things, but through these wild stories.
Yeah, we've got space travel, viral videos, crazy robots. It's all stuff you can actually use, whether you're building a company or just, trying to get through your week.
So let's start where he started, at NASA, in the deep end.
Right. His job was incredibly specific. It was about the hardware that takes dirt samples from the rover's digging arm.
A tiny little piece of the puzzle, but absolutely mission critical. It has to grab the sample, funnel it, and get it inside the rover's belly to be analyzed.
Yeah, that piece of hardware, it's still working up there on Mars
Yeah.
right now.
Which is just a testament to the whole process. And the culture there is fascinating. They don't just, pat their young engineers on the back.
Oh, no, it's more like a trial by fire.
Total trial by fire. They give you this huge responsibility right away, but then comes the scrutiny.
You're talking about the senior review sessions? The, what do they call?
The great beers?
Great beers. I love that.
Yeah, these are the veterans, the old guard.
Yeah.
And their entire job is to look at your beautiful, perfect design and just rip it to shreds.
Politely, I hope.
Well, sometimes. But they find every single flaw, every potential weak point, and you have to go back and fix it under pressure.
So it's basically high-stakes failure training for your brain before you even build a single physical thing.
That's exactly. And you need that because the scale you're working at is just, it's hard to even comprehend.
The analogy from the source material was incredible.
Oh, no, the golf ball one.
Yeah, landing a rover on Mars is like standing in New York City hitting a golf ball.
And getting a hole-in-one in Los Angeles.
That's just impossible. And the physics of how they get there is so counterintuitive. They don't just point and shoot.
Not at all. It's not like a car where you're on the gas the whole time. Space is a vacuum, so it's frictionless.
So they get one big push at the beginning.
One massive push. It gets the craft up to something like 25,000 miles an hour.
Which is what, 5 times faster than a bullet?
About that, yeah. And then, for the next 9 months, it just coasts.
But over 90 million miles, if you're off by even a tiny, tiny fraction of a degree at the start.
You miss by millions of miles. You just fly off into the void.
So that's where the course corrections come in, the mouse fart motors.
The mouse fart motors, I mean, it's the perfect name for it, right? These tiny little thrusters give off just the slightest puff of gas.
A poof.
Just a poof. But that tiny nudge is enough to adjust the trajectory over that vast distance. It's the difference between landing and being lost forever.
And this is where it starts to get kind of philosophical, right? We're talking about these machines made of metal and plastic.
On a planet with no oxygen, so things don't rust. They don't break down like they do here.
Right. 1,000,000 years from now, on Earth, our cities, our cars, everything will be gone. Reclaimed by nature.
But the rovers on Mars, they'll still be sitting there, almost perfectly preserved. A time capsule of our civilization.
And that idea, that permanence, it immediately throws you into these huge political questions.
Astropolitics. Who owns the moon? Who gets to mine that asteroid that's full of lithium?
If you suddenly introduce that much new resource into our closed economic system.
You break the whole system, the math just doesn't work anymore. It's like when cars replaced horses.
All those jobs cleaning manure off the streets just vanished overnight.
Exactly. So if the stakes are that high, how do you even approach building something new?
And that's the core lesson he took from NASA. The #1 mistake people make
is trying to build the final version first.
The perfect, polished, beautiful thing right out of the gate. We're all so afraid of the ugly first draft.
But the NASA way is the complete opposite. They force you to build quick, dirty, ugly prototypes. Not one, but like 4 of them.
And the goal isn't for them to succeed.
No. The goal is to break them. You have to intentionally fail them. You smash them, you burn them, you run the rover wheels until they just shatter into pieces.
Because you need to know exactly where the breaking point is. The goal is to find the limits of failure.
Yes, you fail quickly, you fail often, and you gather data from every single break. Only when you've exhausted all the ways it can fail. Only then are you allowed to build the real one.
And that kind of mastery leads to this unbelievable precision. I mean, look at the goalie robot example.
That thing is just mind-blowing. It's designed to stop a penalty kick from Cristiano Ronaldo,
So the robot tracks the ball at 500 hertz.
which means it's taking a picture every 2 milliseconds.
But that's not even the crazy part. The crazy part is that within the first 6 milliseconds,
Less than half a blink of an eye.
it already knows exactly where it needs to be to block the shot.
That kind of speed only comes from just relentlessly testing the physical limits of the system.
Okay, so that's the engineering side of failure.
Yeah.
How do we get that mindset into our own heads, for our daily lives?
Through gamification. The source calls it the Super Mario effect.
I love that. When you're playing a video game and Mario falls in a pit,
You don't have an existential crisis. You don't think, I'm a terrible person.
no, you're just like, oops, okay, I'll jump a little earlier next time. The failure is just data. It's not about your identity.
But in adult life, when we fail a test or our relationship ends,
We immediately internalize it. I'm stupid. I'm bad at relationships. We make the failure about who we are.
right. And this connects to that psychological idea, the IKEA effect.
Oh, yeah, where you love that cheap bookshelf way more than it deserves.
Because you spent 6 painful hours putting it together yourself. The struggle, the investment of your own effort creates value.
So we're not just learning from the failure, we're becoming more invested in the outcome because of it.
And that's our natural state. Think about toddlers. They learn more between ages 0 and 5 than at any other time.
Because the concept of failure just isn't in their brains yet. They fall down, they get back up, they're excited to try again.
That's the state we have to try and recapture.
But, achieving that kind of mastery often takes this intense obsessive focus. And that brings us to the human cost of all this.
Yeah, the source material talks about how the engineer is really good at saying no. He only goes deep on a few things, has a very small circle of friends.
Because that focus is powerful, but it's dangerous. It can lead to burnout. And you see that drive in figures like Mr. Beast or Elon Musk.
It's a dark side of dopamine.
Dopamine is about the chase, not the reward. It's interested in getting something, not having it.
Exactly. The brain gets its reward from the struggle, the acquisition. Once you get the thing, you sell the company, the video hits 300 million views. The chemical reward just fades.
And the brain immediately looks for the next target. Mr. Beast said himself, if a video gets 300 million views, he's instantly worrying why it didn't get 330 million.
It's what drives history forward, for sure, but it comes at this huge personal cost. You're never satisfied.
And that's what leads to burnout. You get caught in the Red Queen effect.
From Alice in Wonderland, yeah. You have to run faster and faster just to stay in the same place.
The reward chemicals are gone, but you're still sprinting on that treadmill.
So the solution is to find a sustainable pace, a jog, not a sprint. The engineer chose to publish one great video a month for 14 years instead of daily vlogs.
And ended up with 72 million subscribers.
Without burning out. And there's a key distinction here between difficulty and complexity.
This part was so useful. Humans are actually pretty good with difficulty.
We are. We can run a marathon or work on one hard project for 12 hours straight. That's difficult, but it's manageable.
But complexity is what breaks us.
Complexity is juggling 5 different urgent, important things at the same time.
It's the buffet plate analogy. You can handle one big steak on your plate. That's just difficulty.
But if you pile on the steak and the soup and the salad and dessert all at once, it's a mess. It's complex. That's what causes stress and system failure.
Okay, so let's pivot from that internal stress to applying this kind of engineering thinking to external problems. Let's talk about the glitter bomb.
Right. It all started because someone stole a package off his porch.
And instead of just being mad, he engineered this incredible bait package.
The design was genius. It had 4 phones for tracking, a hidden camera, and a spinning mechanism to throw glitter everywhere.
And fart spray. Can't forget the fart spray.
Oh yeah, a ton of fart spray. And it played fake police chatter when it was opened. It was designed to create maximum chaos and humiliation.
And it went insanely viral. But the most shocking detail, the part that really tells you something about our world,
is that half the thieves they caught on camera agreed to be in the video unblurred.
they signed a legal release form. And what did they get in return?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Just a $10 Starbucks gift card.
For hundreds of millions of people to see their face associated with that act, it just shows a completely different value system around privacy and reputation.
And he didn't stop with package thieves. He scaled it up, way up.
The scam call centers in Kolkata, India.
This was a serious operation. They hired people to go undercover for 8 months just to find a weakness in the system.
And the weakness was lunchboxes.
The employees were allowed to bring in their own lunch, so they weaponized a lunchbox.
What was in it?
100 live cockroaches, a timed smoke bomb, and of course a glitter bomb, all on a timer, all filmed on the scam center's own hacked security cameras.
It's like a modern myth. The tinkerer getting justice.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Hephaestus, the Greek god.
The craftsman god, right?
Yeah, he was the outsider. But he used his incredible skill to build a mechanical trap to expose his wife's affair to all the other gods. It's ingenuity as a moral force.
And the impact was real. The video went so viral that local officials couldn't ignore it anymore. It led to 18 arrests and shutting down 3 of these massive centers.
So, bringing this all to the near future, what about robotics at AGI? The sources argue the revolution isn't going to start where we think.
Right. It's not going to start in the home. A robot that folds your laundry is cool, but who's going to pay $500 a month for that? The market's too small.
So it'll start in factories.
Absolutely. Manufacturing. A company can spend $1 million on a robot with 6 arms that does one job perfectly and see a massive return on investment almost immediately.
And then they use that money to bootstrap the development of the more general consumer-facing robots later on.
Exactly. The specialized difficult task comes first. That funds the general complex solution down the road.
So we've gone from mouse fart motors in space all the way to the psychology of burnout. What's the one big takeaway here?
I mean, for me, it's that this engineer mindset, this iterative fail-forward approach, it really does apply to everything.
And if we take that to its ultimate conclusion,
Yeah.
the sources brought up the great filter. This idea that there's a huge hurdle that stops civilizations from becoming interstellar.
And a lot of people think that hurdle, for us, might be AGI, a catastrophic existential risk.
So that leads to a pretty provocative final thought based on everything we've talked about. The NASA process is slow. It's careful. It demands that you intentionally break your prototypes to find their limits before you launch.
But with AGI development, we're in this inverse arms race. Everyone is sprinting to be first. There's no time for that slow, careful process.
So the question is, should we be mandating a NASA-style safety protocol for AGI? Should we be forcing these developers to try to break their systems in a safe environment?
To find all the failure points before we launch a final version that could be catastrophic. It's the ultimate risk calculation, isn't it?
It really is. But maybe the best thing we can do personally is just recapture some of that childhood energy.
Yeah.
Embrace output over input.
Yeah, spend less time consuming and more time tinker with something, build something. Even just doing the dishes can be a kind of active flow state task. That's how we get that curiosity back.